The Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade are corporate cousins, and they start $255 apart. On a $39,000 three-row, that is the same money. So the price is not the decision. Three other things are. Let's line them up. This is buyer analysis, not a road test. Every price comes from the manufacturer's published figures, sourced and dated on screen. How they drive is what your test drive is for. Start at the bottom, both before destination. The Telluride LX opens at $39,190. The Palisade SE opens at $38,935, $255. On these window stickers, that is a rounding error, and both play the same all-wheel drive game. On the lower trims of either SUV, all-wheel drive is a $2,000 option. So the gap at the bottom holds once you normalize, which means neither one is the cheap way in. They are the same car, price-wise, at the door. Here's the first real difference, and it's a big one. The Palisade has a hybrid ladder. 6 of its 13 trims are hybrids, starting at $43,660. Kia has not announced Telluride hybrid pricing at all. If you want a hybrid three-row from these two today, there's only one answer. Here's the second difference, and it runs the other way. Each ladder has a point where all-wheel drive stops being an option and becomes standard. On the Telluride, that's the X-Line EX at $47,290. On the Palisade, it's the XRT Pro at $49,370. $2,080 cheaper on the Kia. And both ladders have a cluster where trims stack up within a few $100s. On the Telluride, the X Pro SX and the SX Prestige are $200 apart. Off-road build versus luxury build. On the Palisade, 3 trims sit within $350. Same money, different vehicles on both cars. And the third, at the top, the Telluride's X Pro SX Prestige runs $56,790. The Palisade's gas calligraphy is $54,060. Its hybrid calligraphy is $56,280. Both of them come in under the Telluride's ceiling. Load either one up, and the Hyundai is the cheaper roof. So, 3 forks, and none of them is the entry price. Want a hybrid? The Palisade, the Telluride's isn't priced. Want standard all-wheel drive for the least money? The Telluride, by $2,080. Want the loaded one? The Palisade undercuts the Kia's ceiling by $2,730. Pick the fork that is yours. What we can't tell you. Kia will announce Telluride hybrid pricing, and that changes this comparison materially. Dealer discounting varies by region, and both brands adjust pricing through the model year. Treat these as the shape of the ladders, not your out-the-door number. The spec sheet can't tell you whether the third row works for your actual passengers, which infotainment you'll tolerate, how each rides on the big wheels, and whether the hybrid's transitions bother you. That's your test drive. Once you've picked the ladder, the rest of the ownership math, depreciation, insurance, theft rates, how long it lasts, is what really separates them. We run the real numbers on all of it. Subscribe, and the numbers decide before the dealer does.